In this session, we are going to have a look at how to set up a resource type named pools. In Dynamics 365 Field Service, pools are used to book capacity rather than individual resources. The intention is to set up a pool that represents the number of resources you have available in a specific time slot. For example, you might have 3 technicians available to be booked on 2-hour jobs. So if you have 3 jobs, you'd be able to book and fulfill that requirement in the same time slot, as we have here, 10 to 12. As soon as a 4th job comes in and needs to be booked, that job will have to move out to a next time slot where one of the 3 resources are available again. So once they have completed the jobs that have been assigned to them, they can be assigned to the next job. Setting up a pool resource is like the process you saw for setting up crews. But you will notice that when you set up the calendar for a pool resource, we set the capacity that we have per time slot rather than the work time that we have available. So one way of looking at this is that we set the number of resources per time slot on the calendar. But we'll explain all of this when we get to the setup of pools. Once the work orders are booked to the pool resources, those placeholder resources need to be swapped out with the actual resources that will complete the work. The dispatcher will use the pool resource to make the initial booking, and then closer to the date of the job, will swap out that pool resource with the actual resource that will be completing the job. So pools essentially allows the dispatcher to not overbook the available resource capacity. To set up the pool resource, we are here in Field Service. I have swapped the sitemap to Resources, and I've clicked on Resources here on the left-hand side and in the resource group. Now, in Active Bookable Resources, I'm going to click on New. The new record opens up. Resource type, I'm going to click the drop-down arrow there and select Pool as my type. And then, of course, for the specific pool type, because you can assign specific resource types to the pool, I'm going to select User. Now, note, we are not assigning users to the pool. We're simply saying that this pool is a placeholder for the resource type of user. We could, of course, also set that up to be a account, contact, equipment, and so on pool. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a name quickly. So I'm setting that up as a DW Maint Tech pool. That's the name that I'm going to use. And then the time zone, important of course here, because the pool needs to be able to work in the time zones that it is intended for. So I'm going to select the +2 Harare Pretoria. At this point, I'm going to click on Save. That will of course save and create the record for me. Now, like any other resource, you do need to assign the characteristics and the categories if you use categories. So as far as the characteristics are concerned, I click on the More button, click on New Bookable Resource Characteristic. Up at the top here, I select the skill name. You would have remembered that skill and characteristic is the same thing. I'm continuing with the dishwasher example. So dishwasher technician electronics, that's the first skill that I want to add. And once again, just to make life easier here in terms of assignment, I'm not going to add a rating value. So at the bottom here, I click on the split button, save and create new, and then I'm going to add the plumbing skill as well. So just plumbing there and click on save and close. So pretty much the same for the categories as well. I click on the More button, click on the new resource category. This is going to be, select dishwasher technician there. Resource category here is dishwasher technician. These are of course all categories and skills that I've set up previously that I'm just making use of now. So click on save and close. Once I've done that, as for other resources, I'll go through to scheduling. I'll go and indicate how the resources are scheduled. Now, because these are placeholders, I do not have to assign them to a specific organization unit. But I am going to just associate it to the organization unit that we've set up previously. So start and end location, organizational unit address. During the booking process where we go and edit the resource requirement record, I'll show you that we set that resource requirement to location agnostic. On the organization unit, as we did previously, I'm just going to use that organization unit that we set up there. So you'll see there, I can allow the pool to define its capacity in relation to the members assigned to it. But I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm not going to associate members to the pool. I'll show you later how we set that up. So at the moment, you can assign, like we did on cruise. I can go to related, I can go to resource children, and I can go and assign the resources to the pool. But I don't specifically want to do it this way. Then rest is as normal. On field service, we can set an hourly rate, time of approval. It's not really applicable here. On work hours, we go and set up the work hours. So here, because I'm not deriving the capacity from the pool resources, I'm going to set up a new set of working hours. And I'm going to say that here on my calendar, I'm indicating capacity. So I want this to repeat every week. And I want this capacity to be assigned to the work days, so Monday to Friday. And then my capacity in this case is 4 resources. So I've got 4 resources that I'd be able to assign to jobs in a specific time slot. The time zone at the bottom here, not that it hugely makes a difference, but I am going to select +2 Harare Pretoria. I can allow this time zone to observe business closures. I'm not specifically focusing on business closures here, so I'm just going to click on save. And that will then, of course, set up the calendar. Now, it is saying here that there's some booking events that might be in conflict with. I've got a crew with members there, but at the moment, that's not going to affect it. So just going to click on OK. And then you'll see that my calendar, my times with the capacities are assigned here. Now, if I move across to June, that of course will run through. I did not set an end date for this pool, so this will run through to the end of the calendar. Right, so that's set up. Now, the one other thing that we also need to do is when we are booking, we need to make sure that this resource is available in the same territory. So on related, I'm going to scroll down to resource territories, and I'm just going to add that territory. So I'm going to click on new resource territory here. The territory that we're looking for is West. So that is the one that we set up previously in our resource setup. And we use that in cruise as well. So West there, and I click on save and close. And that's that. That is the setup of my pool resource. So next up, we'll go and look at how to go about booking the resource. The first thing that we're going to do to step through the booking of a pool resource is to capture a work order. So this is something that is not new to you, but just by way of a quick recap, we changed to the service area of the sitemap, and then under scheduling, we're going to click on work orders. Here, we're going to click on new to go and capture a new work order. So the very first thing that I want to do here is to capture the service account. So I'm just going to select one of the ones that I have here. Do a search there for Spur Germiston. There we go. And then the incident type, I'm going to select the incident type here as dishwasher maintenance. Right, so once I have that, I've got everything that I need for the moment. I'm going to click on save. If you set up your incident type correctly, it just pulls through the products and services, all the tasks and everything that you require. So this is the amount of effort that it takes to set up a work order. Now, what you also see, we'll cover the SLAs in the next session, upcoming session, but what you also see is immediately, because I've got resources available to do the job, under booking suggestions, it comes through and it gives me those resources that might be available. So if I wanted to use one of those directly, I could just click on book and complete the booking here. But what we're going to do is to edit the resource requirement so that it specifically suggests pool resources. So we're on work order 61 here. I'm just going to click on save and close. And you'll take this action if you specifically schedule resources by first booking available capacity and then assigning specific resources. So if you do not have a predetermined resource that's going to be booked on a job, then this gives you a way of assigning the resources to the jobs at a later stage closer to the actual work. So you know that you're within capacity, but you don't know specifically who is going to do the job. So we go through to resource requirements here. You'll see that my resource requirement 61 is listed. So I open that, and then on this, in the resource type, I am going to indicate that I want a pool to be booked against this resource. So I select pool there in the resource type, and then I can also, if I want to specify the pool type, I can also go and say I'm specifically looking for a user type pool. Same with equipment or facilities or that type of thing. Now, in order for this to work, I do need to say that my scheduling currently, by default, it's on-site. So I want to say that my work location is going to be location agnostic. Otherwise, I'll get an error message indicating that I cannot book a pool if the work location is on-site or facility. So got that done. I go and click on save and close. Now I've got a couple of work orders that I've already set up in this way. So if I go through to work orders here, you'll see that there's a couple of work orders here, and what I want to indicate is that we've got the 4 slots per time period, and the moment that we've exceeded the 4 slots, it will suggest the next time period. So here what I'm going to do is to start booking from work order number 56. Now remember, I've got 4 slots to be booked, so let's start with that. Okay, so I've got work order 56 open. I click on book at the top. This then suggests to me the pools that I have available. So you'll see that I've got a previous pool that I've set up here. So that's my dishwasher maintenance techs, and then the one that we've just set up, the DW maintenance tech pool. So I've got 2 pool resources that's being suggested here. You'll see on the right hand side, all of these are pool resources. I've got the DW maint tech pool that we just set up, and then a previous one that I have set up. So you'll see that it suggests a start time here of 1:54, and then of course end time of 5 p.m. So I'm going to select that as the first time slot. I want to select that and click on book and exit. So that would be my first booking against that pool. I'm going to repeat this 3 more times. Then I would have exhausted the capacity that I have for this particular booking slot. So you'll see here I've booked 56, 57, 58. So that's 3 of them. Remember, we allowed for 4 bookings per time slot when we set the calendar capacity to 4. So I'm just going to open up work order 59 here, and we're going to book that as well. So book, just done that with the 2 others as well. The scheduling assistant keeps on suggesting the same time slot, so I still have 1:58 to 5. I'm going to select that and click on book and exit. So that's the 4th booking that I have here. So I just want to show you on the schedule board what's happening on that side. So here we go. That's my DV maintenance tech pool, and there's the 4 bookings that I've made. Now, because we've exhausted the capacity there, we've booked the 4 time slots in that time period, the next booking that I make should find a next time slot. So I won't be able to book this specific maintenance tech pool on the same time slot here. So let's go and have a look at that. So work order number 60. I'll go and book that. And in the list now, you'll see that we've moved over to the 27th. It's no longer suggesting the 26th as a viable option. So if I want to select that same pool, if I go and select that, that's going to book on the 27th. So if I click on book and exit there. So essentially what this will allow you to do, the pools, is to avoid overbooking your resources on a specific time slot. So of course here, once that's done, and I move back to the schedule board and I go and refresh that, you'll see that now if I scroll across to the 27th, so this here is the 27th, there's my work order number 60. So that's how the pools allow you to book. Now, you'll notice that all of the work here is booked against that one resource pool. So what we now need to do is to go and distribute the work to the actual resources that will do it. And we'll do that in the next session. The final step then is to allocate the work to the actual resources that will complete the work. Currently, as you can see here, the work is booked against the resource pool. So to allocate the work, the dispatcher will simply go through to that booking on the schedule board, right click on that booking, go to move to, and then here in the resource, select the particular resource that will be booked against, and then select update. That will then move that booking to that resource. There we go. You can see 56 has been moved. So same process, right click on 57, select move to, click in the resource name here, and select the name of the resource. Click on update, and then that is moved. And there we go. That's how you would use pools to initially make the booking, not exceeding capacity, and then at the end just assign the bookings to the correct or the applicable resource. Pools are set up like any other resource in the resource area of the sitemap. Pools allow you to book capacity rather than individual resources. You can specify the capacity for the pool on the calendar associated with the pool if you do not associate resources with a pool. Pools do need to be assigned to territory or territory to a pool to be available to the correct customers during the booking process. Resources can be associated to the pool, as in the case of crews. This sets the pool capacity based on the number of associated resources. The bookings are moved to the actual resources closer to the scheduled date of the work or the work order that's been assigned to them or should be assigned to them.